NineTen, NineTen, NineTen in the morning.
Yeah.
Yo, what up, 910 podcast? Andrew Polfer, the man, the myth, the legend. This episode's brought to you by Key Lime, Pamplemousse.
They're out of Mountain Dew.
The two flavors you can't get at Costco. Actually, can you get Key Lime at Costco?
I don't know. I think so.
All I know
I
is
think that's why we have it.
the LaCroix. No way, you can't get Pamplemousse. Oh, you're saying that's why you have Key Lime. They're genius for packaging this way, but the LaCroix packaging at Costco is trash. It's trash garbage. I'm a big Costco guy.
Yeah.
Big fan. I'm just disappointed in the flavors that they put in the packaging. But I guess it makes sense if you're going to sell it in bulk, sell the crappy flavors.
Yeah, they're selling just the bangers, but not for the precise taste.
What's your go-to LaCroix flavor?
Ooh, right now, Beach Plum, brand new, just released.
Beach Plum?
New for the 2022 season.
Get out of town. How
Summer.
do you even know these things?
I stopped by the carbonated water section of every grocery mart. Grocery mart?
Did LaCroix put carbonated water on the map?
I think God first put bubbles in water and hot
Maybe.
springs.
Debatable. Here's the crazy thing though. Most other countries drink a lot of carbonated water.
Yeah.
Like if you're traveling, they'll always ask you sparkling or still. They'll always ask you that at restaurants.
What do you choose if that choice is given?
Well, growing up in Ecuador, I thought carbonated water was gross. I was like, disgusting, nasty, does not satiate thirst. And then LaCroix out here threw a little bit of flavoring in carbonated water and changed the game. But now I'm all the way at the point where I like even just non-flavored carbonated water.
Okay.
Like at a restaurant, I now prefer sparkling water.
Do you find that it settles your stomach?
Maybe. I don't know. I just prefer it. It's more interesting than water to me.
All right, here's the thought. When you don't buy a soda, but you get a cup for water at a restaurant or something like that, and you get to choose.
Can you get soda water?
Is soda water free?
Yes.
But it costs more to the place you're at, right?
To carbonate the water?
Yeah.
Does it really?
It's got to be.
I'm going to ask.
But I feel like it's free too.
I'm going to In-N-Out right after this. And
Comment on the thread down below if you think that carbonated water out of the machines are free.
Blow it up. Comment below.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten one comment in the history of this thing.
I think this is gonna be the one that gets it on there.
This is the one. Okay. I had an interesting conversation about water with some 910 boys recently. They went into the kitchen on a Wednesday night and came out with water bottles, and I said, "That's stealing." And they said, "No, it's not. It's just water." To which I said, "Go to 7-Eleven and try that. Just walk into the 7-Eleven, grab a Smart Water out of the case, and walk out. And when the cops come, you look at them in the eye and say, 'It's just water.'" Now,
what if that kid said, "Well, that's my parents' tithe water"?
Ooh, I think it's still stealing.
Well, yeah, because you don't get to make decisions
Ananias
what happens with
Sapphira.
your tire.
Yeah. But there's also there's been a large debate about the morality of taking soda in a water cup in 910. Believe it or not, once upon a time that was just common sense that was stealing. It's not common sense anymore.
Really?
I think there's like legitimately a group of people trying to make the argument that was not stealing. Anyways, another word from our sponsors: Kirkland organic fruit veggie pouches, apple, mango, yellow carrot, peach. I'm confused why the word yellow's in there because apple, mango, carrot, peach are all food. Yellow is not.
Yellow's so hot right now, though.
Yellow's a hot color. So I've actually never tried one of these.
Live review.
Do you want to go first?
I'm not going to be tasting it.
Why?
Because I'm like
I'll go after.
All right,
you.
I'll
go after you. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Not a fan. Let me try it. It's kind of like applesauce with a little extra in there. That's enough. That's enough of that. Back to the LaCroix.
Yeah.
Andrew, how long have you been leading worship?
20 years? 23 years? 24 years. 25 years, JoJo. Check the math.
25 years. Wow. If you don't know, JoJo always sits right here. He's directly to my... JoJo, Hey, dap him up. Oh, I missed. Okay, there we go.
He's also just been nonstop dabbing off of, like, I don't know why he's doing
Yeah,
that.
it's kind of weird. It's a little weird. It's like slightly distracting to my peripherals, but not that bad. It's not that bad because it's a dab. Like, I can appreciate it. He's doing everything he can to bring it back. 24 years. 23 years.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there. What is there like a number one thing that you look back on Andrew Polfer 24 years ago leading worship and Andrew Polfer now leading worship? Is there like a standout difference?
Yeah. So like insecurity kind of is a form of pride. So I think of in that's young Andrew Polfer was so insecure about my gifting and how good I was that oftentimes it was distracting me from the actual point of what worship is, which is God. And so but I think that's kind of with any kind of service opportunity. The more that you're thinking about yourself, the more you're robbing the opportunity for you to be a worshiper in spirit and truth with the actual thing you're being called to. And so I wish I could have gotten that sooner. And I think that puts an emphasis on practicing, about actually like growing at what you're called to do. You put more of yourself into it. So when you're actually doing it, it's less work and you can be more present for the moment of that actual surrender.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like prepare enough to let go.
Yeah. I remember I was teaching one time back in the day, a church called Arbor Road. Actually, it was First Baptist Lakewood back then. And I think it was there.
Brent?
Yeah, Brent Eldridge, the man, the myth.
Let's do this for him.
Yeah.
If he wants, does he watch?
This is for Brent Eldridge. Heck no, he doesn't watch. I wish. Hey, Brent, this one's for you.
Tag him.
At Brent Eldridge, at 1BL.
Still more dabs off camera.
So many dabs over here. It's distracting. But I was about to teach at I think it was at a young adults thing, and it was Megan Fate Marshman. She said to me, she was like, "Are you nervous?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm really nervous." She said, "Good, because it shows you care." But she's like, "If you're too nervous, it either means one of two things: you're underprepared, or you're making it about yourself." And I was like, "Dang, that's good." And I think about that to this day. Like, if I'm nervous before teaching somewhere, I'm either making it about myself more than I should. You know, I want to impress somebody that's there. You know, I'm teaching at a camp somewhere. I want to get invited back or something. I'm teaching at the Jordan, and Polfer crushes it in worship every week. And I'm like, dang, I need to step my game up and make sure this is good. And I can get nervous because I want to impress people, or I'm underprepared. You know, it's like I didn't spend enough time on this sermon, whatever it is. But I find exactly what you said. If I'm prepared and I've done my due diligence, and then I can step up there and go, okay, I know who this is ultimately about. There's still nerves there because you're standing up in front of people and you want to do a good job, but it's much less crippling. It's more like nerves because you care.
Yeah.
Which is good. I think there's a healthy amount of nervousness there.
Yeah.
I'd almost be nervous if I could step on stage and just not be nervous at all and just, whatever.
Yeah.
This is whatever.
I know for me, the more prepared that I feel and the more like I've worked on my like craft in general, the more fun I'm having while I'm doing that. And so I think like the sacrifice of praise should be a joyful one because like we've got really good news. And so like I think I've said this a lot whenever I lead worship, it's like, this is not a funeral. This is not in memory of God. This is to a very living and present God. So our worship should reflect that. That's good. You know, there's times of lament, there's times of seasons for that, but like, I'm a sinner saved by grace, and that's like,
let's go.
I can't stop being excited about that. My whole entire existence, while being on the temporary side of heaven to the eternal side of heaven, I'm always going to be pumped about that.
Yeah. And that's so true of you. Like, that's one of my favorite things about you. You know when you don't really know somebody and you just see like a stage persona of them and you go like, is that real? It's like I did that with Chris Brown, you know? And like I remember doing that with you, of like you were just so pumped to be on stage and like worship, and I was like, come on. Like, come on. I think I'm a naturally skeptical person and cynical, if you will. But then I've known you now for like 5 years plus, maybe, if you count OG Hume days where I knew of you. Doesn't really count, but And now I've told you this, like worshiping in 11:12, or doesn't matter how small or big the stage is, doesn't matter how many people are in the room. Like you are the same Andrew Polfer week in and week out, and stoked off stage too. You're just a fun guy to be around. So that's.
Have I told you this thing that somebody said to me after I came off of the stage one time? I was just covered in sweat. Like it's kind of my, like. His signature kind of vibe, stomping, sweating, and shouting. For sure. The 3 S's. Continuous dabs
so
over here.
Dabs.
Off camera. Yeah. I just came off stage just covered in sweat, and this man, I don't know if he was 90, but it felt like it with how his energy that he brought to our conversation. He's all, "Hey, you're the excited guy up there," and I was like, just wiping the sweat off of my brow, and I'm like, "What?" And he's all, "You're the excited guy up there." And he's like, and my response, this is just naturally, I was like, "Well, Jesus is alive."
Yeah.
I didn't mean for it to be like a dunk.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you kind of posterized him though a little bit. You dunked on an old man.
I didn't mean to dunk, but it just felt like that idea. And I think as worshipers, we don't always grasp the context that we're worshiping inside of, and that because of our limited view and experience of church, we don't always grasp the understanding of what it actually means to be a worshiper. And so I think like in every generation that there has been a faithful worshiper, there's been a different soundtrack and a different environment that those people worship inside of, with the same consistent truth, that golden line of truth through it all, that God is worthy and we ought to be grateful. And so through that experience, like the soundtrack changes, but the truth doesn't. And so we're going to find ourselves in different places, in different auditoriums, or different, like in the 910 room or in Live or Edge, wherever you're at, whatever church you're at. The consistent thing is that Jesus is always worthy, and we should really be grateful. And so I think with that sound and whatever that capacity that we have as a worshiper, we ought to give something of ourselves. It should be a sacrifice. And I have this stupid little saying. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Worship is serious, but it's also fun.
Yeah.
Worship is seriously fun.
Okay, so you know how when something's your job, you maybe don't enjoy it as much for fun? I feel like that's like generally true. Like if you get paid to do something, like a professional baseball player, I'm assuming they don't just like in their off time, they're like, you know what I want to do right now? I'm just gonna play a little baseball. It's like I play so much baseball.
They play FIFA.
That's soccer, but close.
No, but I mean like that's.
I see what you're saying. Like they want to try something.
Yeah, this
else
guy
out.
knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. He's got you. Sorry, I was slow in the brain. But for you, when you're singing, like you sing for a living. That's what you do. Which there's so many rabbit holes I want to chase there with like spicy foods to stay healthy and whatnot. Maybe we'll get there eventually. Do you enjoy singing for pleasure as well? Like, do you sing in the shower? Or is it just like when you're off, you want to be silent? Or you want to just talk? Lots of spoken word.
No, I'm pretty simple.
Or like karaoke?
There's sometimes a microphone in front of me and there's other times there's not. And so,
but you like to sing no matter what?
Yeah.
Wow. You're the baseball player that plays MLB The Show when you're off. Wow.
To be that
guy. To be that guy. Wow. Okay. What would you say to so I'm the 9th and 10th grade pastor, obviously you know that. And I got a lot of 9-10ers. I feel like in 9-10, one of my favorite things to do is to teach church. That's kind of weird, but
I'm grateful that you do that.
Yeah, no, it's very uniquely challenging. JH78 does an incredible job of having this like wide open door of convincing people that church is not boring, which I love. Right, so many people, their testimony starts in JH78 or Tower 6 with Aaron Dugan and Travi just having this really, really awesome philosophy of like come one, come all, which is solid. And then 11-12 is like always kind of been this like discipleship driven machine. And so I'm the bridge between these two ministries. And a lot of it's like, okay, what's a life group and how do we do life groups? And not that they haven't done that before, but I think they're starting to get to the maturity where you're starting to ask the like, so what questions? Like, what does this actually mean? Like we always do a series called like Church 101 where we go like baptism. It's kind of weird that we drown people for 3 seconds and then bring them back up and everybody claps. Have you ever seen a baptism at the beach? With a bunch of non-religious, Christian
lifeguards
people.
everywhere, just running
Freaking
in.
weird, man.
Lifeguards rolling into the water.
Yeah, like
I don't know if that
they just like
happens.
wade out into the shallows and then like drown somebody for a little bit and bring them back up, and then there's a bunch of people on the shore like, yeah, new life, new life. It's great. And in the context of a church, it's fantastic. It's just in a more and more and more post-Christian nation, it's just kind of a funny thing to watch when you're at the beach. But with worship, I think I get a lot of students that are like, oh, like that's just not my thing. Mm-hmm. Like singing's just not my jam. Mm-hmm. What would you as a worship leader say to anybody, but maybe a 9th and 10th grader that's like, I'm just not really a musical person?
Yeah. So buckle up. That sounded insensitive. I didn't mean it to be insensitive.
Dunk on him. Dunk on him.
So with the good news of Jesus Christ.
By the way, like I am kind of that person.
Okay.
North Coast has taught me a lot. But
You're
5 years
welcome
ago,
here.
5 years ago, I was like,
The good news that Jesus Christ has been crucified for our sins and has been resurrected for us to have eternal life is like kind of it's the beginning and the end of everything, but it's the start of a Christian's walk. And so what that means is there's all sorts of things that we do as disciples of Jesus Christ. You mentioned the idea of discipleship or the idea of being in a community. I think that in that there's things like baptism, tithing, and I think worship, prayer, like those things are all a part of the lifestyle of the Christian. And worship is because God's worthy. Just alone. He's just worthy, right? And he's also been so good to us that how could we not? But in the context of a community and worship in that community with music, in song, gives the Christian an opportunity to be on the same page, on the same truth at the same time, with one voice. And so I think like the special thing about music is that it has melody, which are the notes that we sing, and it has rhythm, is when we sing those notes, and it has lyrics, and those are the things that we're agreeing upon singing at the right time, at the right note. And it can create such a unifying thing. So just as like a culture and a community, how special is that? You know, I know for me, when I walk into a space and everybody is going for it, I'm like, my faith is encouraged. And so that's what personally I get out of enjoying that moment. But I think God has given us those tools of music, like we see in the Psalms. Like there's music throughout the Bible, and it says, sing to the Lord a new song. It's encourage one another with hymns and spiritual singing. Like there's context for worship inside of our communities. The soundtrack is different, you know, so it's shifted through all those times, but there's the thing that it edifies us, that it makes us better, it encourages us. But the biggest part is that we've been given this gift to give it back. So with the air inside of our lungs, I love that. I think it's Matt Redman that said this: we breathe in grace and we exhale praise. And so it's a way of saying thank you. I think we're good.
Yeah. We got like 3 minutes.
I think worship is a time to say thank you.
Yeah. Which, by the way, at some point, I want to release like little like sub, like a long forum for the people that are down.
Yeah.
Like these are all 20 minutes, and it's like, hey, come get a quick snippet, whatever. But a long forum podcast like Joe Rogan status, like he goes like 4 hours.
Yeah, he does.
I'm not interested in that. But I feel like you and I could knock out an hour and a half.
Let's go.
And have a lot of fun with it. I have so many things I want to chase.
So many
I don't have
flavors
time.
of pouches.
So many pouch flavors. I'll bring like 18 of these different flavors.
Just crushing Croys.
Crushing Croys and smashing pouches. It's gonna be great.
But I think like worship is a discipline that is enjoyable. And so the more you do it, the better you get at enjoying it. And I think it's not about singing perfect. It's about bringing your brokenness and throwing it into perfect, into God's holiness. And he makes it worthy. And I know for me, it's all I'm about And it's all I'll ever be about. And I think on the side of eternity, it's all that we are going to be about. So I think worship, get good at it on this side of heaven before we're doing it forever.
Yeah, for real. Dang. Dude, that's like mind shattering to me. I don't know how I've never thought about that, but I feel like you just introduced a brand new thought for me. It really is. I can't think of another thing in church that we do that's that unifying. Like when we're listening to a sermon, someone's talking and we're following along.
Yeah, if somebody shouts out, they get thrown out of there.
Yeah, get out of here.
But all during worship, people are going, ah, rah, rah,
right,
firm foundation, like shouting anthems of belief.
Yeah. I kind of prefer sermons where people are shouting out, though. I'm more of like a British theater kind of guy, you know? Like
what about Parliament? Have you ever seen?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Come on.
Loud.
I love it. And like I have to love it in 910 or else I would quit a long time ago. Because it's just like if I monologue, it's just they glaze over and I lose 14-year-olds. So it has to be more British theater than like big church. But anyways, I just think that's a really cool concept that I'm never going to think about worship the same. It's so unifying. Life group, someone's talking, everybody is listening, hopefully. What else do we do in church? Service, I guess, is kind of close. Like you're all serving, but you're like serving in different capacities. Worship is really an invitation for everybody to do the same thing at the same time. Whoa.
It's pretty special.
That is special. Andrew Polfer, y'all. Thank you, my friend. Long form. Look out for the long form one coming your way sometime in the next 3 years. Because
cheers
for this time.
A little dabble to you.
Get him, JoJo. Get him.
I've never seen anybody dab that quickly.
Love y'all. Bye.